Okay, again, we're asking the question, if each tile now on the floor is a 12-inch square 12 inches by 12 inches, how many 1-inch square tiles would it take to cover the floor? Well, these are the results people got, and they're perfectly good results, and they're totally compatible with the results they got previously. Now, there are two ways people calculated this stuff. One way, and the way used by the majority, was to say, well, okay, what we did to get this was we figured out the floor is 30 tiles long and 24 tiles wide, and if we multiply the 30 by the 24, we get 720. That's pretty close to what this would be. Okay, that's just one possible way to do it. Now, maybe you counted 25 tiles by 25, okay, or maybe 20 by 25. So people got one of these numbers, but everybody did that by understanding that the room is a rectangle, and we multiply the number of tiles this way by the number of tiles this way, and we get the total number of tiles. So that's very good. People had no trouble seeing that, and people just spontaneously did it. That was a good start. Okay, so one way to calculate it is to say, okay, well, I've counted how many tiles the room is wide, excuse me, and how many it's long. And those are now, I know those are 12-inch tiles. So I multiply the 12 inches by the 24 tiles I got that way and the 30 tiles I got that way, and figure out how many inches it is this way and how many inches it is this way. And then I multiply those numbers together, and I get this result. The other way to do it, which comes to the same thing, is you figure out how many 1-inch squares it takes to cover each tile. Well, each tile is 12 inches by 12 inches, so it's going to take 12 squares this way, or 12 little tiles this way, and 12 little tiles this way to cover each one of the tiles on the floor. So what we do is we figure out how many tiles it takes to cover the 1-foot tile. Turns out that's 144, 12 times 12, and multiply that by the number of 1-foot tiles. Okay, so 12 by 12 does give you, 12 times 12 is 144. If I multiply each of these numbers by 144, I'm fairly confident that I'm going to get these numbers. Okay, now I haven't actually done it. Actually, I know 5 times 144 is 72,000. Now, I ask people to round these off to the nearest thousand. Okay, if you do 525 times 144, you get something more like 74, 75,000, but with round off, that's about right. If you multiply the 780 by 144, well, let's see, 8 times 144 is 800, plus 320 is 1120, plus 24 is 1144, and a little less than 1144 would be very plausibly 106,000. Okay, anyhow, just a rough estimate. These appear to be 144 times these, taking account of some round off, because we only went to 2 or 3 significant figures in these. Okay, so we want to be clear on the two ways of figuring this out, okay? So we could find the number of inches long and the number of inches wide, and then multiply, of course. That's how we do this. And that's for the room. Or find the number of 1-inch squares for each tile. That's how we start, and then obviously we multiply that by the number of tiles. and we're going to get the same result both ways. So if you didn't figure it one way, if you figured it one way but not the other, figure it the other way too, and show yourself that these two come out the same.